Congratulations, you got a contract. That is the biggest step to getting this business down the road. That contract is great, but now what are you going to do with it? You should hand it off to a transaction coordinator. Starting out, you may be the transaction coordinator, but as you continue moving along, remember how we talked about your schedule earlier? Transaction coordination is a full-time job if you're getting consistent contracts. You need somebody in place to keep those contracts going across the table. Otherwise, your work week is going to start getting skewed. You're going to be spending all your time on transaction coordination, and guess what? You won't be doing marketing, educating, appointments, and all those other things. So find a way to get your transaction coordinator on the ball with you early on as you start gathering more and more contracts. Part of that's going to be a handoff meeting. This handoff meeting is going to be the acquisitions agent. That might be you at the beginning or whoever you're going to hire to handle acquisitions. Have your acquisitions agent speak directly with your transaction coordinator, hand over the purchase agreements, and clearly document everything that was discussed while you were on the appointment. What expectations were met? What were the seller's motivations? What were some of the things that the seller did or did not like? Communicate all of that to the transaction coordinator. Make sure that your transaction coordinator is extremely good at keeping this ball moving forward. They need to be able to handle multiple people at a time, multiple problems, creative problem solver, because getting the contract is the start. Once we submit it to title, that's when the rest of the problems start coming up. So part of the handoff meeting is making sure that our transaction coordinator has a solidified file system. I was a little old school. Most all of my filing was done with just a manila folder and a filing cabinet, property address on the top, and then on the outside of every manila folder I had a checklist of everything that I had to do for a specific type of transaction. Like if I had a wholesale assignment, that would be a checklist, and on the checklist would say, okay, I've got a copy of my preliminary title commitment, I have a copy of the purchase agreement, copy of the seller's disclosure, copy XYZ, everything that I needed in that folder was on that spreadsheet. And I'll get a copy of those spreadsheets out. But for a wholesale transaction, rehab, sub 2, every document that I knew I was supposed to have was on the outside of that folder, and I could quickly grab it and there'd be a spot for notes, and I can say, okay, we've spoke to the seller on this date, closing, etc., and it was someplace to keep all my notes. Nowadays, there's a place to do that online. You can do those kinds of things in Propelio, but all of that to be said, you need to develop some level of file system for your transaction coordinator to make sure all the necessary documents are in place and that they're being transferred to the proper people, okay? The next thing we're gonna have to do, we've got the file system put together, we've created a file, we're gonna need to send this file off to escrow. Escrow meaning your title company or title attorney. I need to send them a copy of the purchase agreement and any related addendums. And what they're gonna do from there is they're gonna go off and pull an abstract of title. And that abstract of title is going to show them all of the encumbrances, what I mean by encumbrances, all of the liens or clouds of title, things that are wrong with the title that need to be fixed before they can transfer clean title to you. In addition to them doing that, you may be able to get them to also file the memorandum of contract for you. Your title company may or may not be willing to do this for you. If they are not, and you so choose to file memorandums of contract, you can go to the county clerks and file them there. I am neither for nor against them. I've used them occasionally, but on average, I don't file memorandums of contract. If I have a really big spread, when I first started out, I would, but I got to the point if I had a really big spread, I'd just buy it. I wouldn't even market the property for sale. I'd get it under contract and close as soon as I could. There has been, and I've spoken about this already, a recent trend where unethical people are targeting memorandums of contract to get in touch with the seller because they know you have a contract and they intentionally try to go around you. Those kind of crazy things are happening. So be careful. File a memorandum of contract if you feel like it's necessary. But more than anything, your rapport built with the seller should be what keeps this deal going. If that seller is willing to go behind your back and contract with someone else, your rapport, you know, there's something to be said there. You need to continue building that up and keep that communication open. Okay? We're going to need to submit all necessary docs to not only title, but anybody else involved. And what do I mean by necessary docs? Let's say through acquisition, I found out that this was the heir to an estate and that there's been no probate on title and that they are the exclusive heir. While I was at the appointment, I got a certified copy of the death certificate. I got an affidavit of heirship questionnaire filled out, and I've got all of the remaining documents related to the death of that person all with me so I can submit that to title all at once. If you want to get your title process moved forward quickly, and not hit a bunch of hiccups along the way, you do need to be as prepared as possible up front. That saves the title company of having to reach out to the seller and get those documents when you already know up front what you need. If you don't know some of those things, do watch the title course here with Shyla Trout and Brittany Washington. Both of those are available, but they will talk you through some of the issues that you will find with title and how to best work with your title companies. Okay? You're going to want to obtain a copy of that abstract/title commitment as soon as possible. What do I mean by a title commitment is whenever you submit a contract to a title company, what that title company is doing is giving you insurance that when they sell the property to you, when the owner sells the property to you, you get free and clear title. That there are no liens against that you're not aware of. Okay? That's what the title insurance is for, is just in case in the future someone else tries to come in and make a claim against your property saying they have ownership rights to it, the title company insurance kicks in and covers you under those cases. What the title company commitment is their kind of their insurance policy. They're saying, okay, we will insure this property as long as all of these problems are fixed. And those problems are found on Schedule C. Okay? I want to see what Schedule C looks like as soon as possible. We'll talk about that more here in just a second. Okay? Something else I need the title company to do, as soon as I know that I've got a solid contract moving forward, I need to get them surveys ordered if needed. My transaction coordinator should be the person handling making sure all of this stuff moves forward. This is going to be the biggest part of it though. Schedule C. Schedule C, I've got a copy of one up here on the screen, and I've got a section here in bold. Now this Schedule C looks relatively okay. There's not a whole lot of stuff going on here, but you can see I got 5, 6, 7, and 8 that are all in bold. Number 5 makes it fairly simple, saying that there's no liens recorded against this property that can be found, and that you need to do some of your own due diligence. Number 6 says that the company is going to verify the marriage relationship of Martha, the current owner. So I want to go through and double check that. The title company will assist in making that happen. Number 7, number 8, etc., etc. You're going to see any objections to the title commitment show up on Schedule C, and you need to verify that everything in Schedule C is good to go. You can Google this. You can research all this. We have other courses on Schedule C just in the Propelio Academy, so go out there, check those out. But some of the common issues you will find with Schedule C are pre-foreclosures. You're going to have documents recorded in county regarding that foreclosure. A decedent in title. What do I mean by a decedent in title? Decedent is a deceased homeowner or a deceased person. Don't confuse decedent with descendant. Two different words. Descendant is an heir. Decedent is the deceased person. So there's a deceased person in title. It says quiet claims deeds. We're not talking about quiet claims. Quit claim deeds in title. Some states do not allow quit claims. In Texas, quit claim deeds are not insurable, and if they find a quit claim deed in title, it needs to go back and be re-recorded, and it causes a lot of issues. Abstracts of judgments. Some of the key things that will make you a more advanced real estate investor is understanding the homestead laws in your state and how judgments against homesteads work in your state. For instance, abstracts of judgment in the state of Texas cannot be filed against someone's homestead. There may be some extenuating circumstances that will allow that, none that I know of, but an abstract of judgment against a homestead can be immediately removed. So even if there is a $50,000 abstract filed against that property, I'm not worried about it. I'll have the abstract removed. Learn about your homestead laws in your state and learn about what liens can or cannot be filed against homesteads. It'll definitely help you pull deals down that other people are passing up on because you have the right knowledge to know what liens can or cannot be held against that property. Mechanics liens, common seller names. Let's say someone's name is Jane Doe. Well, great. Your title commitment just got messed up. You're gonna need to get verifications of persons such as Social Security, valid IDs, much more stuff, so that way they can start clearing these potential judgments off of the title commitment. Tax liens, utility liens, mowing liens, child support liens. All of these things are things you will see quite often on Schedule C. Your transaction coordinator, you and the title company need to work together to make sure that all of these things that are found on Schedule C get removed as soon as possible. Okay, contract management. There's going to need to be continuous communication with escrow, lenders, and all parties that are involved, whether that be trustees, probate attorneys, brother, uncle, cousin, sister. You're going to need to have continuous, constant communication with them, informing them step by step that this process is moving forward, because if they start getting nervous about your ability to close, your deal will start slowly slipping away from you, and you do not want that to happen. Big piece of becoming the transaction coordinator is a concierge. This seller will be like, oh man, I don't know where I'm moving. Well, guess what the transaction coordinator is going to need to do? Help them find some place to move. Oh, I'm not sure where I'm going to move all my stuff, how I'm going to move all my stuff. Transaction coordinator needs to go out and find them a U-Haul, need to find them a moving truck, and find them some helpers. Oh, I don't know about this, I don't know about that. The transaction coordinator is essentially the parent in this relationship that is going to have to work through with this seller to get every little piece put together. And if your transaction coordinator fails to do this, you will not make it to closing. Throughout this entire process, though, you need to maintain your rapport and consistent follow-up at all times. I cannot emphasize that enough. If your transaction coordinator is not good at maintaining communication with people throughout this process, your deals will start blowing up. So, some things I'd say that I'd recommend you do for some homework on this is study a couple Schedule Cs. I'll see if I can throw some in the download section here in the Academy. I'll throw out some other items for you to review on there as well. But start going through and thinking about your role as the transaction coordinator, thinking about your role as somebody that you would want to do transaction coordination for you, and how your file system would need to look. I personally used Manila folders. It was simple, it was easy. I was going hard and heavy 2012-ish through 15, 16. All of that to be said, figure out whatever system is going to work best for you and make sure that you get it transacted and coordinated properly. And we'll see you on the next close of dispositions.